Okay, to talk about playing chords with the guitar, you want to understand the motion of and the direction of the thumb. You want the thumb to be out from the fingers, and it's almost like it just sort of follows like a rocket going up this way. The thumb is going kind of toward the forefinger, that second knuckle, not the first knuckle, but the second knuckle, and kind of hits the side of it. And there should be about that much thumb. It shouldn't be just tucked under the knuckle like that. You want the thumb out enough to where when it hits the side of your forefinger knuckle, there's about that much thumb, kind of residual thumb there. And then the thumb has its path this way, if you're on the strings of the guitar. And then the fingers have a path that's more or less going in the direction of your forearm, but you want to follow through with the fingers to where this part of the finger follows in like that. You don't want to pluck up like this. That's really not going to be productive. Some electric guitar players do that in a funky kind of way, but generally we want the fingers to follow through like that. Okay, so if you're hitting simultaneous chords, like thumb and two fingers or thumb and three fingers, it's like this. You've got, say, a C chord. Let me get to where you can see me here. And I'm following through. See, the thumb is going to go like that. And you can just practice thumb strokes. And it's kind of going upward, but, not extremely upward. I'm not going up like that, but I'm going against that knuckle. And then the fingers follow through. And it looks like when you play a chord, you're like this. And then at the end of the chord, the follow through, it looks like a trap is closed. It's not a real tight fist, but it's kind of a fist. See? But generally, you don't want to hold it like that. You want to come back and be ready to play the next chord immediately, So whether you're doing thumb and three fingers or thumb and two fingers, thumb and two fingers, C chord to a G7. See? So that's the basic chord motion. Now, we should also talk about arpeggios. When you're doing arpeggios, like my Prelude number 2, it's really easy. It's just the bass note changes, but you're still just playing the first 3 open strings for the most part. And now to get ready for this, you want to learn how to plant your fingers and to plant them simultaneously as the thumb plays. So as the thumb plays, I'm planting my 3 fingers like that and peeling them off one at a time. Now here's a warm-up exercise that I show all my students where you plant your thumb on the 6th string. And the first thing is to understand this motion that your fingers are doing. It's kind of like a pump jack of an oil well rig that's going, pumping down into the ground. It's called a reciprocating motion. That's the technical term for it. So when you lift your fingers, you're not lifting them out like that and doing that. You're lifting them vertically and they're going down vertically. So the fingers are always pointed toward the strings that you're going to play. And so it's kind of like this kind of motion. And that's called a reciprocating motion. So anyway, And when you plant the fingers, you'll lift. A good exercise is to just go on the top of your guitar and then lift slowly and then drop, like, and make a little thrust to the motion. So it's not like you're lighting down like a butterfly. You're actually tapping the wood like that. See? Okay. And so once you get that motion, try to plant the thumb on the sixth string and then lift the three fingers slowly and then sort of plant them all together. At first, you know, you may find two fingers go to the same string, or this finger might miss and plant on the fourth string, but eventually you should be able to do it consistently. And if you have nails, you want to plant right in the corner of the nail where the nail and the flesh meet. So right in that corner, that's where you want to plant on the string. So it's touching both the flesh and the nail, and then you follow along the edge of the nail and the flesh as you follow through. But so you want to be accurate about that if you have nails. If you don't have nails yet, then don't worry about it too much, but try to get consistent on how you plant the fingers, okay? That's the first step, is to be able to kind of lift, plant, lift, plant. Just sit there and do that for 5 minutes maybe, you know? And then the second part of the exercise is that you'll play the thumb, you'll lift slowly again, and then as you plant, play the thumb, okay? Then you might take a break and get the thumb and the fingers planted again, lift slowly, see? And then take a break, get them planted. Eventually, you want to be able to just sort of keep a beat and be able to plant as your thumb plays. So kind of lift them up and then redo it like that. And be able to keep a beat kind of like 1, 2, kind of like that. Slow beat, slow beat. You could even do it fast if you get really good at it, you know. And also with my thumb, I'm playing almost all with the nail of the thumb. If you don't have nails, don't worry about it. Just play on that edge, that bottom edge of your thumb. But I'm not playing with much flesh. I'm playing just with the nail. Okay, now the next part is to do the same thing. You're going to play the thumb and then play each finger as if you're peeling them off one at a time, like that. So you plant, plant, index, middle, ring, and then see if you can just kind of eventually keep it going. You might have to stop and then kind of start over again. And then if you need to do that for a while, that's fine. Stop, take a breath, plant them, lift slowly, play the thumb, play the index, play the middle, play the ring finger. Stop, lift slowly, plant as you play the thumb. Okay? And then eventually you should be able to get it going to where your planting becomes a reflex. Every time your thumb plays, those fingers just know that they're going to plant. And it's kind of like, again, that oil well rig, that what we call a reciprocating motion, going down directly, vertically into the strings. Okay, now with the prelude, I'll play through it, and there's a first and second ending. So the second to the last line is the first ending, and then the last line is the second ending. So when you go through the first ending, the first time you play through, you'll repeat back to the beginning, and then you'll skip the first ending and go into the second ending. And the second ending is the only one that has like a chord where you have to finger three different strings. It's a B7 chord with the first finger on the fifth string, second finger on the third string, and the third finger on the first string. So they're skipping every other string and they're all behind the second fret. And then you hold the first finger for the final chord, bring your second finger over to the fourth string, and it's an E minor chord. So that's the ending of the second ending of the piece. So anyway, I'm going to play through the whole thing with the first ending and then the second ending. So you're starting with this E on the second fret of the fourth string, and you're mostly just playing open strings, except that second to the last chord at the end. Okay? Keep the thumb out. Make sure your thumb's not too close to your fingers, or they kind of get in each other's way, and then they don't play as loud. You want to be able to follow through. The thumb should be able to go at least an inch before it hits that second knuckle. You know, you don't want it right there where it only moves a quarter of an inch or something. So get it out there. First ending. Back to repeat. Planting each time. Plant, plant, plant. Just keep planting. Second ending, going to the second ending. B7 chord. Okay, so maybe I'll give you a perspective. I'll play through it again where you can watch my right hand planting each time. Sorry. Trying to watch myself and play. And then two ways to strum that. You can strum with your thumb, or you can do the planting and roll the thumb like that, like, and just peel the fingers off. That might take a little more practicing, but it's worth working on. You should be able to do it either way. Just with the thumb, that's the easy way. And then it sounds good. Sometimes it sounds better than this. Okay, so enjoy this prelude and just play around with it. I mean, you could just start and just hit that first chord for 3 hours, you know, however long you want to do it, you know, just until you feel really comfortable with the planting. Plant, you know, as you play the thumb. If you feel like you have to stop and prep a little bit, like prep, prep, if you're doing it very accurately, that's okay for a while. But eventually you want to be able to just plant as you play the thumb. Play it again. Left hand, hold the first finger. And even on the first ending, when you do the first ending, you'll go like, hold this finger when you play the first finger on the fifth string, and then you go back and start over again. You don't have to keep holding the first finger, but hold the second finger into the first finger. That's in the first ending, okay? And in the second ending, you have this B7 chord, and you would hold the first finger going to that final E minor. Okay, so it's a fun one, and eventually you could play it faster. It doesn't really have to go this fast, though. And then also work on those arpeggios in the notebook where you're starting with chords. And that's what I was showing you in the beginning of this video, where you're following through as if you're trying to clap with one hand. Make sure the thumb's out, and then the arpeggio. And then it's PMI. When you do MI, you might practice just planting M and I and playing M while I is still planted, and then play it. Get used to moving M while I is still there. You could even do this, like repeat while you're holding I. But you want to be able to put them down together and then playing them separately, peeling them off one at a time. But it's kind of going backwards. So it may seem a little harder to do. So it's PMI. You might want to go a little slower. Eventually you should be able to do it pretty fast. Okay, so that's in the notebook. Work on that and also work on this Prelude number 2. All right, and have fun with all that, okay? All right, see you in the next one.